Hi there, and a very warm welcome back to the channel. Now in this video I want to share with you this lovely oil study I made recently of a little egret. But more than just the painting process, I actually want to take you on the journey, the trip in Clarabelle that I took recently to RSPB at Dungeness. I saw this fella there and I saw so many other bird species as well. I had a wonderful outing and a wonderful day filming there. But I took lots of photographs of this one, quite a bit of video as well, brought the whole lot back to the studio, and I looked through it and I found one that I really liked, and I wanted to work it up into a painting and video it for you guys to enjoy. So that's what this whole thing is about. So sit back, enjoy this one. I'll catch you all the other end, and don't forget the full version of this is over on my Patreon, nearly 3 hours long. Take a look at that if you would like to do so. I'll catch you all at the other end. Bye bye for now. Hi everyone, and a very warm welcome back to the channel. And today I am in the RSPB reserve at Dungeness once more, and I'm heading out now to one of the hides with the cameras just to see what's about and have some fun today. Try and see if I can do a little bit better with my photography than I did last time out with the new R series mirrorless cameras from Canon. And I sort of invested in that new technology over my old EF DSLRs, and hopefully I can do a little better today than I did before. So time will tell. I'm heading to the new hide. I forget the name of it because I don't actually think on the map that it's got a name. It's a fairly recent addition in the last year or so, but it provided an awful lot of photography last time out, so I'm hoping today will be no exception to that. And I also plan to walk around to a couple of the hides that I've actually never been in before as well. So yeah, wish me luck. We'll see how we go, and hopefully there'll be a few nice photographs and maybe even a little bit of video footage at the end of this to make the whole thing worthwhile. I'm just going to the first lookout, see exactly what's out there. Anyway, enough of that now. I'm going to get into the hide and we're going to see what we can see. Catch you all later. Hey everybody, now I'm inside the new hide. It does sound a little bit echoey, which of course it would be. It's a vast sort of shed affair, but it's a really beautiful hide, well thought out. It overlooks this wonderful lake, which I'll show you in a moment, but it's got great viewing screens, which are non-openable for safety and security. And it's got a wonderful viewing screen, and it's also got these lovely sets of stairs or stage parts. So this is ideal for small families and children just to sit and enjoy. And if you're not photographing or using binos so much, then this is a perfect little setup. In addition to all of that, you've got this wonderful seating area. You've got low windows, you've got high windows, you've got everything you need to enjoy this lake from almost three aspects. Certainly this one here, almost full on, and where I was just now, back to the side, something like that. Now, in addition, this is going to be the lake that we're going to be looking at. So it's a wonderful lake. There doesn't appear to be too much happening. There's a little grebe down, great crested grebe, many coots, swan. Hi everybody, well welcome back. Now I'm in the hide and I've been here probably about 10-15 minutes now, and I've got the camera set up. I've got the 1.4 on because there is quite a bit going on out there, but not so super close. So the 1.4 is on, giving me about a 700mm, just under focal length, and it restricts my aperture, but that's not too bad. We've got a lovely bright day today. Not a lot of cloud in the sky, so we've got full sun, which arguably can be good or bad depending on what you're trying to do. Got my binos out. I haven't seen too much out there. A couple of little egrets about, swan, coot, moorhen, and there are some tufted ducks, some teal out there on one of the banks. Cormorants way over there on the island, which they normally frequent, so not unusual to see them there. But I'm ready to go. So I'm probably going to spend about an hour in here, maybe a little less, just depends if we get a little bit too bored. And then we'll walk on by and carry on and see what we can do in terms of other species. Okay, well, I've pretty much done all the hides now, and I'm glad I did in a way, because they are all quite uniquely different to each other. And this one I've just come out of is called the Denge Marsh hide. Overlooks a lot of banks and what have you, full of geese, loads of geese, all different types, and well, a couple of different species, got to be said. Seen the marsh harrier a couple of times, and common buzzard, and I just got a couple of shots in, and if any of them are any good, of a couple of glossy ibis flying over the top. Now, they were just quick grab shots, nothing to paint from, nothing spectacular, merely a record of the fact that I did actually see them. I saw them last week, just 2 of them flying yet again, and 2 this week. So they went up where I'm walking now. I'm walking back towards the hides that I went to before this morning, just to see if they've gone in on one of those lakes. I've no idea, probably not, but it would be fantastic if they had. And so I'm going to slowly make my way back there, and when I get to that first hide again, just sit there for the afternoon, just see what happens. I set myself the goal of walking around all the hides this morning. I think I've covered them all. There's a lot of chiff-chaffs around, loads of them. They're just flying ahead in front of you. I've seen one stone-chat female, and I'm not very good with my little brown jobbies, to be fair, but yeah, it's just an amazing place to be, out in nature. A little bit of exercise too, it doesn't hurt anybody. Yeah, awesome. I don't know why I haven't done much more of this in the past. I really don't, because you know, it's there to be had. You just got to take the trouble to get yourself dressed up and out there. You don't even need to take cameras, just go out there for a walk and enjoy nature. So anyway, more later. Hopefully my decision to go back to the hide is the right one, and we may even see those glossy ibis, who knows, fingers crossed. Okay guys, and a very warm welcome back, and as you can see, I'm now back in the studio ready to start this little oil painting of the egret. And yes, it's the egret that I chose to do the remaining part of this video on. But before I get started with that, I just want to say this, that I had the most wonderful day photographing birds down at RSPB Reserve at Dungeness. Now, I haven't been there for a long time, and that's my own fault. I should have gone there a lot more often. However, you know, I was testing out new camera equipment in the Canon R5 Mark II and the 1:500 lens. They did not let me down. The only thing that let me down were my rusty skills, and the paintings or the photographs that I've shown you so far are not top notch. They're the best that I could actually produce on the day, and I think the fact that I haven't taken any bird photography for so long, they didn't turn out that bad. Certainly good enough for me to do a few paintings from, and that is just a few paintings from the first visit of what will become very many visits, not just to Dungeness but to other reserves and other places around the UK as time allows in the future. Now, before I go any further, if you have or are enjoying the content so far, please consider subscribing to the channel, give it a big like and a thumbs up and all of those things. Click that bell icon and that will tell you every time I upload a video. Now, this is only going to be a shortened version of this painting, and the full version you'll be able to pop on over to my Patreon, where I will have the full version of this and so many other video tutorials. I think there's over 200 films on there that you can enjoy, and I think if you get involved with my Facebook community group attached to the Patreon, there's also over 45 plus live stream videos there as well, and it is always being added to. So for the few pennies it's going to cost you each month, there's so much on offer. So check out the Patreon. I'd love to have you on board as my latest member. Now, with that all said, let's get on with this lovely egret painting. What I'm going to do first and foremost is just do a few thumbnails just to get my head around the idea and the format and the style that I want to do this in, and then we go on into doing the painting itself. So let's get on, let's see how it all works out. Okay, so the idea of this is just to see how I may want to design the painting itself. Now, the indication on the photograph is I've set it like this. What I've done is I put the bird's head somewhere on this third radius, like that, third and third in. It's a little bit more dynamic, and that's the idea. So what I wanted to do is just sort of sketch the idea from this point of view. And there we go. I'll be using some very pale blue colors. Now, I've got a lot of ultramarine blue here and a fresh ladle of white, and that blue is really quite nice. However, I don't think it's the blue that we actually need. I also need to make quite a bit of it. It's a little bit stiff, so I'm going to come in here. It's getting towards winter time. We are in the throes of our autumn now, and so our atmospheres are getting a little colder, and I'm not sitting here in a t-shirt anymore for a kickoff. I'll put in a little bit of cobalt into that mix, just see where that is and where that lies. One thing I will say about this preparation, this first layer, is that you can always sort of push your brush down to create extra lines that take the paint or push the paint out of the way and reveal a little bit of the lighter color of the canvas popping through. Just a little way of drawing a few bits of detail in ahead of time so you can work on those later when it comes back to the next and subsequent layer. I also feel that my color needs to be a little darker. I'm bringing a little bit of umber to that now. A lot more blue. Making a bit of a grungy color, but we're coming back to the blue and a little bit of that. A lot more blue. It's worth keep mixing until you're really happy with the color you're making. I'm going to put all the white values in. I think that's a lot better. It's come away from the pure blue as well. I think it's the right choice. Okay, so let's come in with more umber now. We're going to make a bit of a dark. Going to make some ultramarine blue, which is my favourite way of making a black, either with umber or with burnt sienna, whichever way I want to do. I'm looking at that beak and I'm thinking that is just way too thick. Like I said, wipe it away. And what I'm going to do now is just come in very carefully this time. Instead of a bull in a china shop, just draw that line to the point there. Steady hand. What I needed, steady hand. So while I've got the small brush in my hand, this is fatal, but I'm going to use it just to put in the detail around the eye itself. So I'm going mine has got a little bit of a wrong go with it. I'm going to get rid of some of that. I'm going to take all of that off. Don't like what I did. And I'm going to come back in and I'll do the blue value, the blue color later in the next session. That's a little bit wrong. Into there we go. Pick up a little bit of umber into our blue, a bit more maybe. Just want to come in and look at that shape. It's not nearly dark enough. Let's get rid of some of that light color. Stop playing around with a little bit of color there. Let's come in with a stronger dark. Coming in down here to meet the water, then come back up the back end of that somewhat darker and a little bit dark underneath the very bottom part of the rump, and then you've got a little edge there of the leg as it's on the other side, and it's sort of got that darker accent there, lead edge, as it's going up the chest. Now this is him puffed out a little bit in a sense. This is his neck, where he's got his neck all the way pushed down into the body. So you've got this distended look to the chest, and ordinarily that would come up, you'd see the shape of the body more clearly. It's just the way that he's standing, he's looking, he's hunting, and I quite like that look. That's why I went with this picture. Now I'm working in this way. If you feel the need to have a little more control, consider doing this, where you're working back in a more natural form. It can be very difficult to look at a shape that's coming horizontally across you from the wrong side, as it were, from your normal writing or painting, or depending on if left or right handed, it will have an effect either way. But you do have the ability to come back in this way and create some nice little effects which will sort that issue out. Okay, I think that's quite good at the moment. I'm not unhappy with that. I do need to come in with a bit more light in here to suggest the light part in there. So I mustn't forget any of that. I'll just come in with a much bolder statement and come into that here without going too close to the edge. Just playing around with the marks. Now the thing about that is I'm worried about it reflecting the eye. It's not the eye. So maybe let's get rid of it. Easily done. Clean your brush. Take a lot of the moisture out. Just come back in. Just lift that pigment. Any residue, just come back over with a colour and just replace it. There you go. Sorted. No problems at all. The thing is that although it's in the photo, it's quite distracting, and anybody who doesn't know or hasn't studied the photo will think that that's an odd position to put a reflection of the eye, and it's nothing to do with the eye, but you can understand how somebody may be a little confused. Always pitting yourself against the reality of what the photograph is suggesting and your ability to capture it in paint. Never easy, it never will be. But isn't that the challenge and the beauty of trying to create something, painting? You know, you're constantly seeing where you can improve, change something, make something look three-dimensional on this two-dimensional surface that we all use. Unless of course you're a sculptor, that one. If you're one of them, I'll take my hat off to you, because I can't think three-dimensionally in that fashion. I've tried so many times and failed so many times. I have always enjoyed painting water. I may not get it always right, but I do enjoy it. In fact, there's a book from a company called Search Press. If you're in England, you probably would know that company quite well. I did a painting book for them. Well, I've done two for them in the past, and one of them was how to paint water in acrylics. I think there are copies of both still available. If you look around, probably World Books or one of these third-party companies that sell older books. So they've been out of print for many years. But one I did is painting water in acrylics, and I thoroughly enjoyed that because, you know, they approached me to do it purely and simply because I know how to paint water. Maybe even a suggestion with some cad yellow, not too much. It really isn't. It is quite a yellow eye, but from this sort of distance, it's not that yellow. But there is quite a bit of dark over the top. So we're going to bring that dark in. I need to point that brush up. There we go. I'm going to bring that over a little bit more there. Okay, that's looking much better. All I need to do now is just very carefully just shape the top with a strong dark mark, and then just put that pupil in there. Okay, I'll stop at that point on there. Let's come back and let us just look at other parts of the bird and see where we need to go. I think I've got some lovely colours down on the chest. Now I'm just going to pop back in and just put in a few extra lights and darks in here. There's quite a bit of weed up around the other side of the bird. I'm going to put some of that in, just laying in the water as it is. So we've got lots of bits of weed here now that are sort of laying up out of the water. I'm going to increase the shape and the size of some of these. So I've got lots of little bits of where they've been dragged up, some are growing out of the water, maybe a little bit more fluid to help me do that. And every time you do one, mimic it in the correct fashion so that that goes that way, the reflection comes this way, it doesn't go that way. I've seen people do that, and it will wreck your look and the painting, but try to be careful of that. Now that is laying in the water. I'm going to do that with that part there, which is the reflection of said piece laying in the water. So it looks like that's sort of dragging out, and that little bit of light of the water here is enough to give the impression that it's pulling out of the water, and this is sort of the reflection of said piece. So everything is being mimicked in the right fashion. I know I keep saying that, but it's important. So we're going to come back in here, and we may get this finished in this session, who knows. It would be good. Alright, I'm going to bring that this way, and I'm just going to break that up through there, and a little bit of a shape off there, and maybe let's just put in a little bit of colour. That lovely little bit of neat yellow ochre in there just helps, and we're going to break a dirty one out into some of that. I'm almost scribbling with a brush, which is something you know I often do. But I think that's quite nice. We've got a lovely little suggestion of this weed and something growing out. I'm quite happy. I've been looking at the eye, quite happy with it. It may be between now and when I edit this video out that I might do some more, but you know, I'm not unhappy with the way this whole thing looks. I'm not going to put too much in here. I just may, just to help out with this, is to put in a little bit of warm color into that. That's good. All right, so there is something that I actually haven't done, and it's probably the most important part of doing. So I'm going to come in here now with some varieties of warm colors, and very careful. I'm going to have to repair that top bit again, but I haven't done any of these wonderful little filaments that are hanging down from the chest of this bird, and I need to get that done. Now some of them are quite cool and some of them are quite warm. Okay everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this. I've had a lot of fun painting it. Now if you would like to see many full-length tutorial videos, have a lot more connection with me, and also have a monthly live stream and a monthly challenge, then why not consider popping over to my Patreon. Links underneath this and many other videos. Take a look at it, get involved. It's only going to cost you $10 a month or $100 a year. Crack on over there and become a Patreon member, and I'd love to welcome you on board. With that said and done, I'm going to wrap it up now, and I am going to clear up my mess for a kickoff and start thinking about what I'm going to do for the next video. Catch you all guys, take care, see you soon, bye bye.